What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to I Do It Myself. Good morning. I am Wayno. If this is your first time here, it's good to have you, and we want you to stay. If you like what it is that I do, hit that sub button and run up them likes. Today we talking about a topic that affects the hood, specifically poverty. We're talking about gangs. And not only just gangs, but gang culture and, arguments that's stemming from that online right now. So if you're familiar with Hocus 4/5, Hocus 4/5 is a brother from the Bronx, you know what I'm saying, notably Soundview, Castle Hill, the home of sex, money, murder, a blood set, you know what I'm saying, that has not only started as a set, it was a crew from that area that eventually was integrated into the Bloods, and it's moved throughout all of the Eastern Coast, right? So you could find SMM members in Atlanta, Florida, anywhere between those places, you know what I'm saying? It's something that has plagued our people. And Hocus 4/5, he just recently started this challenge. He started this challenge called Drop Your Flag. Now, the whole concept of dropping your flag is to alienate and take yourself out of the gang politics, anything to do with a gang. And it's been met with support and it's been met with scrutiny. On the support side, Hocus has had multiple people who are supporting this challenge because throughout this, people are looking at it from the standpoint of, it's too many young brothers and sisters who are losing their lives. Gang culture, specifically in New York, has had a hold on the city for the past 30 plus years. And yes, people on the West Coast, specifically, who rep Blood or Crip, always say how it's fake or, listen, real people get hurt, real things happen. I'm saying the ideas that y'all had for whatever it was that y'all were doing 40, 50 something years ago have gone all over the world, worldwide. And all of the influence hasn't done much good. I'm saying it hasn't done much good because ultimately, when you are saying that you're in a gang, you're basically saying that you're a part of a criminal organization. Now, does that mean that you partake in the daily operations or you doing shit every day or you putting in work and you banging every day? No, but you're associated with that. And we all know how association works, right? The scrutiny is coming from the fact that people are looking at Hocus as he's, I believe, fighting a case, and they're saying, oh, he's only denouncing this because he got a case on his hands. And I think that, I think that's a very small way of looking at things. I want to take a second and peel things back so we could really get a view of what this culture has done to our people. But this is Hocus talking about the, drop your flag challenge.
I come to a pivotal point in my life where I see what's wrong and I want to fix it. So with that being said, I want to denounce all gangs. I want to denounce any and every gang affiliation of mine, particularly the sex, money, murder gang that I once represented in a culture that I pushed forward. A lot of people became sex, money, murder because of me. I influenced a lot of people, and I look back and I'm not mad about my past because, it is what it is. And hey, look, as long as I feel like I'm doing something about it now, I feel like this is the right step towards, helping my community. And that's what I want to do. And like I said a little while ago, gang culture, it's over. It's over. Y'all see what's going on? The FBI, we all are watching our young men and women be destroyed, destroying themselves and also being destroyed by the FBI. We're watching it.
Now, while I do hear him, I think that, the FBI is one thing, but that's not the biggest problem. The problem is how we try to use these coping mechanisms as these gangs and these families and all of that is really a structure for manipulation. That's all it is. People saying, why don't you go do something that they were not willing to do? And when you go do it, they not supporting you. They not holding you down. They going to say, oh, man, stand 10 toes. Stand 10 toes. This is what you signed up for. Well, what are the applications that we giving out for people to sign? And by we, I mean my community. Because as far removed as I may be, I step outside and I see nothing but deer and hawks and all types of nice shit. That doesn't mean that I'm not affected by what my people go through. So, Adam22, he did, I'm not going to call this a skit. I'm going to call this him trying to make fun or light of what Hocus was saying. and the shit was just really corny. Let's watch it and come back to it.
I just want to say to all the people out there, I ain't gangbanging no more. I've been GDBD Vice Lord for a long time now. Been doing battle with my ops, done battle with the police, put in work in the jails, but I decided I needed to change my life. Ever since the big homies caught me playing with my booty hole, they've been extorting me, $20K a month. I can't live like this no more, man. It's too expensive, and I'm ready to just be me. So I encourage everybody out there to do the Drop My Flag challenge and just and live your truth on the dead homies. So yeah, gangbanging is out. Carrot and myself is in. Peace.
Now, I told y'all before, I'm going to tell y'all again. Adam's type is gangsters. See, the thing about the No Jumper platform, what used to be somewhat of a music platform, it shifted. It shifted all into gang culture. Not conversations about forward progress and how you can move things forward, but antagonizing. You know what I'm saying? Dudes coming up there, arguing with other ones, talking about what they going to do when they get up there. They got their names and all types of paperwork about things that happened that didn't really affect them. And this is the bullshit. Now, Adam, while I could say that I've never had a problem with him personally because I've been on his platform a few times. He's been on a platform that I had did one time with Complex. That relationship just was what it was. But this type of shit is just corny. And the reason why it's corny is because, see, it's the mentality of the white person that says, oh, well, don't y'all call each other nigga, so why can't I call you a nigga? Or don't y'all harm each other and take each other's lives, so what's wrong with me talking about it or covering it? Now, we're not going to be able to fix that. Unfortunately, people will continue to give content to these spaces because they don't even know how to curate or build a conversation around nothing else but bullshit. A lot of these people aren't educated. A lot of these niggas don't know where they coming or going. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just want to be seen. That's the thing about the camera. You know what I'm saying? The thing about the camera is one point in time, the camera was really reserved for certain type of people or certain classes of people. People who were entertainers, people who were athletes, people who were artists. You know, it was just reserved for a certain type of people. This content creator idea or whatever the fuck they want to call it, it's ruined society in a lot of ways. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say it's just completely ruined society because I'm a person who does benefit from the factors of being a content creator. But I'm not talking specifically about myself. I'm talking about the person who says, well, I ain't got much other than my gang affiliation, and I ain't got much other than the stories. And then these stories antagonize a person that you've harmed, and then that person wants to do the same thing and antagonize you. And ultimately, somebody gets hurt or somebody loses their life or somebody goes to prison. Who's the answer for it? It's not going to be Adam, because all he's going to say is, hey, I'm just covering this. I'm just covering this. This is hip hop. This shit is not hip hop. It's criminal activity. Call yourselves a crime cast because majority of the shit that y'all do are either talking about crime, talking about stories with crime, or leading to crime or the aftermath of crime. Y'all accept jail calls and put them online and all. Listen, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do to get y'all money. But ultimately, black people as a black culture, we can't sit here and say it doesn't bother us. You'll be a liar. So Styles P chimed in. You know what I mean? And when Styles P chimed in, he put something up. He says, whoever is black and is homeboys with the goofy white boy who mock putting down the flags of gang members, he must think y'all bitches. Better G-check that shit and tell him, shut his devil/federal mouth when he see black men trying to help black babies. Now, this is the conversation that's brewing because Styles P. Can people look at Styles P's life and start to say, well, Styles P, didn't you rap a certain way about certain things? Yes, he did. Didn't you rap about violence? Yes, he did. Does that mean that he cannot change? Does that mean that there's no redemption for that one person? That's an artist. Now, the thing about it is that everybody is not going to be able to tell their stories in an art form way where they'll be able to monetize it and become big artists and shit and sell a bunch of records, because that's what Styles P has done. He sold a lot of records as a member of the Locks and himself individually. But there's nothing wrong with black elders telling black youth, hey, listen, I know a lot of the stuff that we taught you or we said mattered, but we were wrong. And then you get a white person like Adam22, because that's what he is. Like, this is not nobody making nothing up about Adam. He's white. Let's just call it what the fuck it is. He's a white man. When he has to be home, he's not dealing with the factors of this type of shit. He's not related to nobody black. I mean, he's seeing the remnants of it because he has people like 4 Extra and people like Crip Mac and all of that who he tied himself to do content. And once they started going to jail, they started feeling entitled to his platform. But ultimately, he says, I paid you. I ain't got to worry about you. I ain't got to put up no money for you. I ain't got to do none of that. You made the choices that you wanted to make. That's his fucking prerogative. But that don't mean that this doesn't affect us as black people. So I know Wack 100 chimed in. And he asked Styles P and says, first off, nobody tell us the West what to do with what we originated. Bro, my nigga, I get it, man. I get it, but fuck all that, man. At what point in time do we stop having a division of West Coast? It's the West Coast. We started the Bloods and the Crips. We the ones that get the... There's no rule books for none of this stuff. It's no rule books for none of this stuff. It's an infection. It's an infection. You want to know why? You can't go to Minnesota and tell these niggas that they not Pyru because they doing this every day. You can't go to Little Rock, Arkansas or Texas or wherever to tell these dudes that they not this or they not that. It's an infection that is destroying our people, first and foremost. I don't care where you from. When I see a young black man or woman lose their life to the streets, it saddens me. Because there is a point where they can shift their trajectory and not have to go down that road. And the thing is that we see time and time and time and time again of examples of people who don't make the shift because of the pressures of the niggas around them until it's too late. And once they hype you up to do some dumb shit, now that you done did some dumb shit and you in a dumb situation, they're just gonna call you dumb for it. Let's continue. He says, second, we originated. Second, off the clown, he's clowning, doesn't have the right or rank or respect to dictate nothing. Third, we don't know what G-check is. Now, Hocus and Wack, I don't know nobody who Wack ain't had a problem with. Just keeping it 1,000, man. Wack go to 1,000 with everybody. But they've had their problems on Clubhouse or whatever. Let's just put it as this. Both these men done been in the penitentiary. Both of these men essentially done put in work within their respective fields of the streets. That shit don't get you nothing but friction. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. He says, third, we don't know what G-check is. Adds Adam22 and says, stay your course. Nobody had nothing to say when you was just running around NY and all the Crip and Blood projects. Won't y'all start I guess he's saying won't. He meant to say won't. Won't y'all start G-checking Bobby Shmurda? Show us what's going on, but never think you can call a dog on what we better do. I'm going to keep it 100. The reason why we have division as black people is because we hate each other. We hate each other. It's not even any way for us to have any dialogue without it being some sort of aggression in this situation. And then everybody uses the word politics, a politicking, a politics of this, that, and the third. Come on, yo. Let's just call shit for what it is. But even he's right in a sense because nobody had nothing to say. My thing, when that all went down, I said nobody was going to do nothing about it because the white man's ice is colder. See, if any content creator that's black goes into a black neighborhood anywhere in America, you know what they're going to want? Him to pay, him to basically lay out his credentials if he's just documenting stuff. But the white man's ice is colder. Adam could go do whatever he wants with immunity. And I'm not saying that people should harm Adam. I don't think he should be harmed. I ain't calling for nobody to be harmed. I'm just saying, as grown-ass men, where's the accountability that we have amongst one another? See, all of this gang shit done got out of control. Gangs is the greatest idea poorly executed. I know more gang members than I know fraternity members. I mean, taking into account that I didn't go to school. But I know more gang members than I know hospital employees, athletes and artists. I probably know more gang members than I know any other group of people. And I'm not saying that as a bragging point. People feel some need to attach themselves to things, to make themselves a part of things, and to be a part of shit because they feel left out. People want to join gangs because they be looking for love in a lot of the wrong places. And that's what happens. But I'm happy that he says something regarding Bobby Shmurda and G-checking Bobby Shmurda, because this is what Bobby Shmurda had to say about him being Crip.
Do you feel like you're not a Crip at all? I put my flag down. I'm just a regular dude.
I'm retired. I'm retired. Like I don't gang bang. I'm 30 years old. I got bills and businesses. I don't gang bang. Somebody's gang bang is active. You know what I'm saying? Now I come from that. You know what I'm saying? So I can always see them throw it up. I love this and that because I come from it. But I'm not a gang banger like, yo, I don't know what's active in the streets. Like, yo, we going against these. I'm not none of that. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in the streets, we fucked up New York mindset because we was the first ones with that Crip and blood shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? We do what we want to do. We West Indian. We do what we want to do. And to us, it's being pussy when somebody telling you that you can't do something. So if you telling me I can't chill with my son, I feel like a pussy now.
Now, what I think he meant by the whole Blood and Crip, we the first ones, was the division. See, when it hit New York heavy. It started in the prisons in New York City. So when Blood came into the streets of New York, it was a mindset thing that people were implementing on younger kids that never been to prison. So it was a lot of ways and actions that you had to abide by or do with a prison mindset, even though you had never been behind the wall. How much of that is a setup to go behind the wall? How much of that is a setup for your own demise? How much of that? See, the thing about the drop your flag thing is, I feel two ways about it. I feel in one space it could be performative. I'm not calling it performative. I know how people view things. I know why people will call it performative, because they think, oh, this is some shit that people are just doing for social media. But I ask y'all, are y'all tired of this shit? How tired are y'all? I'm happy the fact that Bobby says, I'm retired, right? Because he's not running away from his past. He's not running away from what he was a part of or what he did. But he is saying, I don't do none of that. And what did it cost him? At the prime years of his life, it cost him 7 years in prison. 6.5, give or take, right? But at the prime years of his life, when he had a hit record and everything was happening for him, right at that cusp, he was about 21 years old. About 21, and had to go sit down for 6 to 7 years. How much did that ruin? All for the love of the gang. In that same interview, he talks about how all his friends was the ones that got him the charges, because there's so many things that happened after he started getting popping. But Styles P did respond. And he says, well, before we get to the response, he does say, as a continuation of his first comment, he says, I usually stay away from the talking about a lot of shit. But what he's trying to do and doing represents a different type of evil. Y'all brothers around him better G-check that shit, or you're not even responsible and accountable than he is. If he don't make an apology to the culture and race and actually mind his business from this point on, every black man that stands with him or besides him is a fucking coward. Good night. Now, very interesting, but I say powerful, right? Because here's the thing. Any other group of people, when they suffer or they're going through things publicly, right? Nobody calls it putting in work. Nobody calls it giving it up. Nobody calls it getting active when we talk about different races or different ethnic people of ethnic backgrounds who suffer when it comes to violence, right? But here we are, and we're responsible for our own demise because we parade it, we lift it up, we salute it, we have accolades. Like, people make it like an accolade thing to take lives. But these lives that y'all taking, who y'all taking lives from? Your own. Now, he does respond directly to Wack 100, and he says, I don't give a fuck about no gang, period. I don't care about, he said, I don't give a fuck about no gang, period. I care about the babies. I ain't a blood or crip. I'm a black man. And if you can't drop flags, cool. At least teach these kids something better. Can you not make the gang stand for something better? Is that against the code also? No matter how you put sucker shit is sucker shit. Gang or no gang. And leading a shorty to do some shit you know gonna get him time is whole shit, period. Gang or no gang. Salute. Salute. Now, what's funny about this whole exchange between Wack 100, and Styles P is Wack's been going viral for this video right here. And he speaks about some things that kind of fall in line with what Styles P is saying. That's why it kind of bugged me out that he was so against it, but I also understand that he get money with Adam. But at what price? But let's watch that video and come back with this.
If it start wrong, it's gonna end wrong, and I may catch some flack from this. To my Don moves, to my keyways, my power rules, my grooves. Listen, this thing started for a positive reason. It shifted to a negative behind the leadership of most people that had a fifth grade mentality. Most people who didn't even understand what escrow was, a credit score was, who didn't understand, right, that there was a real world, who was using fear and manipulation to dominate our own people. And it's been over 4-5 decades that we continue to practice these ways. Listen, bro.
This nigga cooking.
At some time, we got to stop and realize the blind is leading the blind. We following the lead of somebody who has lost himself. We follow the lead of somebody who can't even fucking read and write. So we follow the lead of somebody who's getting the goddamn satisfaction of saying you do this, you do that, because over the years, people have fabricated and made up stories about who this man was when really he got high when he was 19, shot a motherfucker in the liquor store and caught life and came in here and sat on the yard, and you really don't have a resume to have the right rank and respect that they're giving you. But because of all bullshit and buffoonery, this is what we giving them. So at some point, we got to say, you won't fit us no more, because the route you guide us is going to lead us to a hellhole.
And that's all I'm saying. All of this leads to a hellhole. But the thing that Adam22 did is laugh at the hellhole. That's the only point that Styles P is making. And the whole thing about gangs, starting off in this positive thing, we've been trying to put lipstick on a pig for a long time. All gang members walk old ladies across the street. Well, let's talk about, or let's highlight real quick, this 18-year-old man, and this affects me heavily because I'm from East Harlem. But in East Harlem, an 18-year-old man arrested on Thursday is facing federal charges after an innocent 69-year-old woman with a walker was fatally shot in East Harlem last week. Phyllis McCants, 18, is charged with firing 15 rounds from a machine gun on a public street, striking and killing Robin Wright on East 110th Street and Madison Avenue just before 12 p.m. He kept his head down and was quiet as NYPD detectives led him to the car that would take him downtown to be transferred into federal custody. McCants faces federal charges of possessing and using, was classified as a machine gun. Wright was with a friend at the time using a walker and was not the intended target when she was shot in her face. You know how disgusting this is, man? When a 69-year-old grandmother can't even walk down the street with her friend to go get something to eat because these little niggas is running around here with switches and lighting everything up. Drop y'all flags. This is I'll do it myself. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually you will. Catch you on the next one. Peace.